Yeah, whatever. I look like hell. The apartment's a mess. I am waiting for my rapidly becoming ex-girlfriend to leave. I need to freaking pluck. I'm a complete depressive case right now. It's not pretty. Oh, God, I've gained like 100 pounds since we moved in. I mean, you go and look at the Rachel Maddow, Dan Choi on Don't Ask, Don't Tell video from like November 13th of last year, and God, I've let myself go. It's not a fun feeling. And there were a whole bunch of things that fed into that and made it difficult, especially the fact that I seem to be the only one who does any cooking or cleaning around here. So when I decide not to do any, well, this happens. Um, Whatever. It's this is why I really didn't want to make a video. Um, I don't know. Estrogen still rocks, so that much is going well. Um, and I will still take this over what I was seeing 2 years ago. So, uh, without a doubt, I'm just like I often do, get down and have to find my motivation with both hands and a flashlight, and I don't seem to be able to locate the flashlight under all this mess. So that's 2 minutes apologizing for how I and my apartment look, which I suppose is less effort than actually cleaning myself up in my apartment and dropping a quick 10 pounds so that the chin fat disappears. But, whatever. Couple things I wanted to respond to. First of all, this is always the thing that happens is someone wants to be supportive, and they use the clunkiest, painfulest, most. It's the most progressive thing they've heard, but it's certainly not the most progressive thing in terms of language that they're using. Like FTM, or MTF. The problem with that construction is it essentializes birth assignment. It says that someone went from being female to being male when someone really just went from being perceived by others as female to being male. There's a big difference. And I think there's a lot of inherent cis-sexist baggage wrapped up in those constructions. It's why I don't like them. It's why I don't use them. It's why I certainly never use them as nouns. I mean, you don't want to use trans as a noun. You don't want to use transgender as a noun. Transsexual maybe. But, this is 2011, not 1994. Come on. We've updated the lingo. Trans woman, trans man, trans whatever other gender the person identifies as. Assigned male at birth, assigned female at birth. These aren't that difficult. And I hate to give someone who's really trying to be cool flack for, not getting the verbiage. I'm not. I'm correcting the verbiage because otherwise it gets really highly annoying. So yeah, to your hypothesis that trans people don't have a medical condition, we kind of do. But the thing is, it's the most easily corrected thing in the world. It's really like it's like if type 1 diabetes was, oh, well, you take 2 aspirin a day, one in the morning and one at night. That's about how complex being trans is from a medical perspective. Before we had, crummy aspirin, but you still had trans people. You still had priestesses of Cibele undergoing genital surgery. You still had people taking phytoestrogens and anti-androgens. There's certainly some truth to the fact that herbalism worked. Though I don't think it works as well as Western medicine and being able to actually synthesize, 17 beta estradiol. or other androgen blockers and progesterones. So yeah, there's that. It is a condition. It's easily treated. It's as easily treated as scurvy is. But the problem isn't that, I need a slice of lime to treat said scurvy. The problem is that there's an entire apparatus set up designed to control access to the vitamin C in question. There's an entire complex set up to deny people who need a really, really easy treatment, which is just medication typically, some very, very minor procedures like sometimes hair removal, sometimes voice training, pretty small stuff, and sometimes a corrective surgery for those who are feeling body map issues. But then again, I really think that part of the high demand for surgery is a result of this big superstructure that's kind of designed to try and discourage trans people from actually existing in the first place. And so a lot of things get essentialized, especially genitalia. So yeah, it is a condition, but it's not a, it's not a condition. Most of the suffering isn't as a result of the condition. Most of the suffering is as a result of refusing to treat the condition. And I think that's pretty much it. I will mention one parallel. Anyone here has heard of the Tuskegee experiments. Somewhere in the South, they had about 300 syphilitic black men, and they decided just to not treat the syphilis. They'd give them free healthcare and monitoring, because they wanted to monitor the progress of the disease, which was an incredibly unethical experiment. It was just refusal of treatment. 1980, Janice Raymond writes an essay, it's one of those alphabet soup titles, but on the ethics of transsexualism kind of thing, for the Reagan administration. And the policy prescription there is deny treatment. Now, interestingly, about a third of the men in the Tuskegee experiment died, which is the estimated fatality rate for untreated gender dysphoria. There's about a 30% suicide rate. So, are they morally equivalent? Well, I tend to think so, especially seeing as the author of the report was someone who basically wanted trans women to not exist and didn't really care if the people lived or died. So yeah, it is on some small level a medical condition, but it's one that's been easily treatable ever since we were able to grow hops. So yeah, there you go.